is real.
Alright, so look, have you ever wondered why they always tell you to fear the very thing that could set you free? Every time we get close to real power, they throw a monster mask on it. They say, don't go near that symbol. Don't touch that knowledge. That's the devil. But I need you to see the trick. Why would your oppressor warn you away from something unless it had power in it? Take Baphomet, for example. They plaster this goat-headed figure everywhere and call it satanic, and program you to fear before you even begin to think. But pause. What is it really? Baphomet ain't no devil. It's a code. It's the law of polarity written in an image. Male and female. Light and shadow. Human and animal. Spirit and matter. All joined in one body. It's telling you that nothing is separate, that everything is connected, and the only way to master yourself is to integrate all sides of your being. The torch between the horns, that's illumination. That's the fire of knowledge in the mind. That's what lights you up inside. That's what shows you that the kingdom is within. And the wings? That's transcendence, rising above the flesh into higher realms. Even the goat itself, it's not evil. The goat is fertility, vitality, untamed energy, nature in its rawest form. Now see how they flipped it? They took the codes of balance and light and turned it into terror, so you never decode it. And this is not just with Baphomet. They do this with every symbol. The serpent in Kemet, in Africa, the serpent was wisdom, kundalini rising up the spine, DNA activation. But they told you it was Satan. The pentagram, in its true form, it's the 5 elements in balance. It's the human body in harmony with nature. But they painted it black and red and made you think that it was witchcraft. Even your Ankh, the African key of life. They buried it under the cross, stripped the womb out of it, and told you their version was the only sacred symbol. See, this is how they keep you away from your inheritance. They put fear around your ancestral codes. They whisper, don't touch that. It's evil. While at the same time, they're in their lodges, their fraternities, their secret orders, studying those same symbols and writing whole systems of control with them. That's the cruel joke. They don't fear the symbol. They fear you understanding it. Because here's the truth. The devil ain't in the symbol. The devil is in the distortion. They wanted you afraid of images because once the fear takes root, you stop thinking. You stop looking deeper. You stop decoding. If you never decode, you will never unlock the laws that govern this universe. Symbols are not drawings. They're memory. They're ancient libraries compressed into form. They bypass your intellect and speak to the subconscious directly. That's why pyramids, eyes, spirals, circles, they all vibrate in you whether you know the meaning or not. Ancestors use them as maps to the cosmos, reminders of who you are. But the colonizer turned them into haunted houses, so the moment you see them, you run. And while you run, they rule. They build their cities on sacred geometry. They align their monuments with the stars. They use color psychology, numerology, and occult timing in their politics, their wars, their economies. They're playing with your science in your face. And because they've trained you to call it evil, you won't touch it. But here's the shift. Once you stop being afraid, the spell breaks. You realize that Baphomet is not a devil. It's a mirror. The serpent is not evil. It's wisdom rising. The pentagram is not a curse. It's your body, your elements, your temple in alignment. The Ankh is not forgotten. It's the key to life, hidden under another man's cross. Don't worship symbols, and don't fear them either. Decode them. Look through them. Every symbol that they demonized is a doorway back to yourself. The lock is fear, but you hold the key, knowledge. And once you start unlocking them, the whole house of lies comes crashing down. If you stop being afraid of the mask, then you see the truth of the face behind it. And that truth is simple. You are God in the flesh, and the entire universe is encoded within you.
That might be one of the best videos I've ever seen on this channel, because I feel that same way. I grew up super Christian, raised to be afraid of everything. Every symbol's bad, any secular song is bad, any pagan anything is bad, and if it's not God, if it's not Christian, it's bad. Fuck that. Fuck that. They're literally just raised in a world of control, right? A world of fear. Like, be ashamed of being human. Be ashamed of natural impulses, urges, and feelings, and emotions. Bad, bad, bad. Be afraid of everything. It's all just symbols, man. It's all just representation of different things to tell stories. But everyone's too fucking afraid to look into anything or stray away from what they've known their entire lives because they're going to go to hell. They're going to burn for all eternity. Wouldn't all loving God do that? I couldn't imagine burning anybody I cared about alive, let alone anybody I loved, just because they didn't do what I wanted them to, right? I mean, that alone should tell you, like, hey, there's probably some fear mongering here, you know? Maybe not in the word of God, but at least the way that the churches represent it. I don't know, I think it's all retarded. I think it's all super dumb. Just live your life how you want to live. Just don't do things at other people's expense. Don't hurt other people. Just enjoy life. You got no one to answer to but yourself. Have fun. Be a good person. Simple.
Did NASA just announce that they've discovered aliens? Well, I watched the press conference, so you don't have to. And this is what they said. They said they found a rock. They showed this rock. It was from Mars. It had spots on it, which intrigued them. Leopard spots, they described them as. And they analysed them. And they found, well, their conclusion was that they potentially were made by some sort of ancient life. So it's as close as we've come to finding some sort of life in the universe, some sort of suggestion that we are not alone in the universe, but they're not saying that they found life. They're saying it was like a signal, if you like, a bit like finding fossils on Earth, an indication that there was life here in the past, and it needs much more analysis to make any sort of firm conclusion. But actually, the closest we've come to any sort of evidence that we aren't the only form of biological life that exists in the universe. We may not have been alone, although it's very ancient life, so, you know, it's not as if we existed at the same time. But anyway, that's what we have discovered. There may have been aliens.
So it was like ancient arts and crafts they found? Ancient paintings? Someone painted a rock? Someone painted a fucking 40 million year old rock? That's kind of cool. I'll take that. I'll take that any day.
Are we about to be told that we're going to be invaded by aliens? Because I sort of feel like that's where things are headed. So there was a UAP congressional hearing yesterday, and they released new footage and new evidence. Now, this isn't the first hearing they've had. This has been going on for a while, but it hasn't been taken seriously. It hasn't caught on to mainstream narratives yet, but I think it's about to. And I think that they're gearing up for that with Three Eye Atlas. The whole Three Eye Atlas story was very fringe when it first came out, and now we're starting to hear it more in mainstream circles. It was discovered July 1st, but it didn't start picking up steam with the general public until well into August. And I feel like this narrative is just getting kind of pushed further and further, and they want to see how far it goes. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. It could be PBB, it could be true, it could be interdimensional beings, it could be a holy war, who knows what it is, right? But I feel like we're approaching the point where the country of the United States is going to be told that such things exist and they're coming, or they're already here. And inevitably, when enough people believe the message, it's going to cause panic. And with that panic can cause all sorts of responses. But naturally, people who are more inclined to be violent or start riots will probably lean into that. And so I think that the government knows this and they're anticipating that. And so they're setting up shop to prepare for that. And perhaps maybe that's even what these data centers are, because guys, these data centers are huge and they don't look they look like concentration camps. So if Three Eye Atlas is supposed to arrive sometime next month to Mars and then be closest to us, I think in December, we're looking at a window sometime in 2025 where this narrative is going to continue to be pushed if this is what's happening. And this could very well be the nudge needed to push us into a UBI system or a cryptocurrency system or a one world order or any of those things. I mean, we're seeing unsettled societies across the globe. And I feel that that further illustrates the possibility that this is coming.
Yeah, I think that the inciting riots and violence and getting us to turn on each other, whether that be with people getting assassinated or social justice issues arising and whatever the case may be, I think the reason that they intentionally get us to get so worked up and really push on stories that really get us like angry and want to riot and stuff is so once like we're burning down cities and shit, they can get us normal people who aren't out there wreaking havoc to agree on stronger security, stronger surveillance. I think it's really just like, that's what all this has been, right? And Project Bluebeam is going to be for control, complete control. Like, yes, we cannot protect ourselves from outer space beings, interdimensional beings, whatever they are. So yes, government, you have my permission to do whatever is needed to ensure my safety. Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like with the Patriot Act during 9/11. It was like, we allowed, even unknowingly for most of us, but we allowed them so much more jurisdiction, so much more power, so much more control to basically do whatever. Like if they called someone a terrorist, they could come in your house without a warrant and arrest you, like no probable cause, if they want to. So I think it just comes down to that. It's like, okay, yeah, these people, you know, on this side of the political spectrum, or these people on this side of the alien panic, or whatever the case may be, are, you know, burning down cities and rioting and looting and stealing and hurting police officers and civilians and whoever. Yeah, let's tighten up security. You know, we're afraid. We people are afraid for our safety. So yes, police, yes, government, yes, military, whatever the case may be, do it. Do what you need to do. And then that comes with, oh, now we have curfews. Oh, now we can't go to work, so we need you to apply us a income. And then it starts going more toward, you know, government control of the economy and our income, and then our livelihood and our safety, our security, and then just keeps going in a direction that a lot of fucking people think they want it to go, but really are not going to enjoy it once we get there. People are inadvertently working toward America becoming North Korea, actively saying they're trying to prevent things from becoming North Korea. It's just like, dudes, wake the fuck up, dude. Wake up. More government control is the last thing we need.
Did you know that in 1962, America's top generals approved a plan to murder their own citizens? Operation Northwoods was a classified CIA proposal that would stage fake terrorist attacks across the United States. The Joint Chiefs of Staff signed off on every horrific detail. They planned to shoot down passenger planes filled with innocent Americans, then blame Cuba for the massacre. Miami would be bombed. Washington, D.C. would face coordinated terrorist strikes. Cuban refugees fleeing to America would be deliberately drowned at sea, their deaths used as propaganda. Remote-controlled aircraft would crash into buildings while fake passenger lists were released to the press. The military calculated exactly how many civilians needed to die to justify invading Cuba. Each attack was designed for maximum emotional impact on the American public. President Kennedy read the proposal and refused to sign it. One signature stood between approval and mass murder of American citizens by their own government. The document stayed buried for 40 years until declassification revealed how close we came to state-sponsored terrorism.
That sounded a little too familiar there. 9/11. 9/11. Never forget.
It wasn't made by a bunch of truthers. This is BBC. Told you this.
You're going to make this happen?
No. We're going to make models much cheaper. Then we photograph the models.
Fake newsreels?
That's fake newsreels. For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels and listening to our fake commentaries.
And they accept it for the truth. And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? They're just told they exist and they believe it.
Yes, you're getting there. I knew you would. You didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing about up there, did you? Sputniks and rockets. Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
How long has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
And the H-bomb, you mean, that doesn't work either?
Right. Dirty.
Very, very dirty.
What was your first reaction? Relief. Oh, yes. Yes, it has to be relief.
You say you can put out what pictures you like on television. Doesn't anybody try to stop you?
No, nobody wants to. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. And they're the top minds, the really responsible people. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a hat.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human beings. We say threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways of not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality. Nowadays, people don't work for money. They work for the idea of money. They don't even love for love. They love for the idea of love. They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive tea, gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at policemen. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers and Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
There must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button.
I don't know what that was from, but I need to watch it. Apparently it's from BBC. I don't know if it was a show, if it was like a parody documentary, if it was a movie, if it was a news report, if it was an interview. I don't know. That's the thing about all this. Like, all these clips we watch, all the news that we watch, all of the media we watch, all the interviews we watch, like, it can be looked at just like this video. Like, I don't know where this came from. I don't know where the footage came from. I don't know who that is talking, but it sounds official, right? It sounds real. It sounds like an interview with somebody who clearly knows what they're talking about, by someone asking questions who is clearly in a place of authority to where they can ask those questions to somebody who would the forbidden answers, right? So, you know, we look at that, like right now, we look at this clip and we're like, yo, that's crazy. That's real. That's a real interview. That's real information that we're getting from somebody that knows something we don't know. But none of us know who that person is talking, besides maybe a few of us. So all I'm saying is, take everything you see with a grain of salt. Just because it's something you see that they're not talking about on the mainstream news doesn't make it real. And just because they are talking about it on the mainstream news doesn't make it real. And I can pretty much guarantee if you're watching this video right now, you're on the other side that doesn't believe anything the mainstream media says. But in the same sense, there's a lot of shit on the internet, more so even, I would say, in fact, that is not true. You know, people post things just for engagement. People post things just for attention. People post things just to misinform people. So with that being said, do I think that a lot of the shit that we're told is fake? Using this video for context? Yes, absolutely. Do I think it's all fake? No. I think we're told just enough and shown just enough real shit to where we feel comfortable believing the copious amounts of fake shit. You know, give us just enough truth to trust them and trust the lies that follow whatever truth they tell us.
I don't know if you've been feeling it, but we just went through one of the biggest timeline collapses and shifts since 2012. Remember when everyone all of a sudden started to get these weird Mandela effects like Fruit Loops or Febreze or Berenstein versus Berenstein Bears, or Luke, I am your father versus no, I am your father? We just went through that just this past week. If you've been suffering with headaches, body aches, a lot of nausea, even a little bit of dizziness or vertigo, most likely you were feeling it in your body, and that probably means that you're an extra sensitive individual. Of course, we've also been having an uptick of crazy, insane visual dreams, as well as psychic attacks. This is all a part of the shift that we're experiencing right now.
Full transparency, I was randomly sick for like 4 days last week. I was completely fine. And then one day I just woke up and I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? I've been having some weird dreams too. My girlfriend as well has been having some really weird dreams and wasn't feeling well for a couple days as well. Could have been from traveling. We did travel. We went out of state for a couple days. So kind of like chalked it up to that. But it's strange that she says that because now I'm interested in paying attention and seeing like what other Mandela effects are going to like take place here in the next coming days or weeks.
Does nobody find it suspicious that right when the celestial object 3I Atlas is what it's supposedly called is due to be closest to Mars, all of a sudden the government shuts down and you can no longer track it? Not even a couple of weeks after they stated how supposedly massive this thing is, exceeding over 30 miles wide. Do you know how fucking big that is? Or the 7 comets that somehow miraculously came out from behind the sun that are now directly on track with that of 3I Atlas. Ones that are around the same exact size as well as 3I Atlas right in the midst of all the controversy surrounded around the Epstein files, right in the midst of another potential world war. How much of a force fucking narrative can you push without the people realizing what it really is? Think about what you think Project Blue you know what would look like theoretically if it were to occur, right? Then imagine a method that could be used via, let's just say, AI, right? To basically miraculously defer every single nation away from wanting war and any further violence. How do you think you go about doing that? Especially when you need all the attention off of you. Definitely not a hologram of the second coming or anything. Definitely not to maintain the control that you've had over this entire round for thousands of years or anything. Do I believe that 3i Atlas actually exists? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But I know that I'm mentally prepared to immediately see through the bullshit as soon as it happens. Do you really think that in order to find God, you have to go to church or read this supposed scripture? Jesus will always consciously be a part of you. Everybody, actually. As we are all connected to one another, collectively. And this second coming already happened. Awaken your mind and notice what's about to happen, because a lot of people are about to willingly be deceived. And the chess game of deception only has a couple of moves left.
Wait, so I know I haven't released a video in like a week, but now there are 7 more comets the size of 3i Atlas that are following it now that it passed the sun. Why haven't I've not heard about that? Have you heard about that? And Project you know what? I don't know why I couldn't say Project Bluebeam. Maybe that hurts reach on videos. I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I release this one. But yeah, I mean, I feel like now would be a great time to do it. I've been playing with AI. If you look at my YouTube shorts or my TikTok, I've been playing with Sora 2, the new AI video creator. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So I just have to imagine that the whatever we have isn't anywhere near as advanced as what, you know, the government has. So good luck, everyone.
What's that? Oh, scientists have recently discovered that your consciousness can jump timelines and actually warn you about things that could be coming up in your future? Tell me more! Yeah, scientists have actually recently discovered groundbreaking information, and they're talking about how when you get a gut feeling that it's actually your consciousness that had jumped timelines into a future event and then came back and tried to warn you of this event. Okay? Now, it's not only just bad things that could happen to you that they're warning you about. This could be things that could put you on a path that could make you successful or get married or find the right person. Okay? This was originally thought to be just your intuition trying to lead you in the right direction. But now they're saying that this, of course, is actually your consciousness that has jumped timelines. Oh, goody. What's crazy is these gut feelings can actually tell you how to avoid death. Oh, I love it.
So what if our guardian angels are actually us from the future sending back messages or signals to let us know about things like, hey, don't do that. Don't take that trip on your bicycle. Don't go visit that volcano. Don't try to fist fight that grizzly bear. Like, you know, like, I don't know who's fist fighting grizzly bears, but maybe don't do that.
Did you know that in 1977, humanity accidentally sent a guide to our own destruction into space? When NASA launched Voyager 1, scientists included a golden record with sounds and images representing Earth. The goal was peaceful contact with alien civilizations. But what they actually recorded was terrifying. Anne Druyan, Carl Sagan's future wife, had her brainwaves recorded while thinking about human history. She was contemplating the Holocaust, nuclear weapons, and centuries of brutal warfare. Those thoughts of violence were etched into the golden disc forever. The record also contained sounds of crying children, screams of anguish, and audio from actual wars. Mixed between peaceful music were humanity's darkest moments. Scientists believed they were showcasing our culture and achievements. Instead, they created a cosmic advertisement for our capacity for extreme violence. Any hostile alien civilization finding this record would learn exactly how dangerous humans can be. We essentially sent a manual of human brutality traveling through space for eternity.
Damn, so we're literally introducing ourselves by starting with sharing our criminal record. It's like, hi, I'm an Earthling, and I've been guilty of armed robbery and violent assaults and battery on civilians. Oh, Jesus. Well, it's no wonder that they don't want to talk to us.
Yo, did y'all see this?
The creatures who deceive the humans in the name of God were reptile-like aliens called Reptilians. The Reptilians liked to eat the animals of Earth and occasionally enjoyed eating human flesh, too.
They brainwashed the Earthlings by using the name of God, when their true intentions were to invade and overtake the Earth.
So they blatantly are telling human beings now that the place they call Earth is nothing but a food farm for many extraterrestrials that come to the planet, and they see human beings as meat. It's the same exact replication that we do when it comes to us looking for food to eat out of these different farms, eating these chickens and the meat. And you know what's funny about this shit? We're replicating exactly what they're doing now. Because now all of a sudden they talk about lab-grown meat, synthetic ass meat. All of this shit is fake now. There's no blood in the shit. And we need to just sit that shit the fuck down. The extraterrestrials having the same conversation when they come down to the planet. Tasting humans and shit, what the fuck?
All right, let's see if this video stays monetized after all those F-bombs that dude was saying. Might have to cut that out completely.
I got something to show you guys. You're gonna say it's fake, this, that, and the other thing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Let me pull these out first. So I have the Shazam video that they say never existed, which is Mandela effect number 1. Well, let me get this to focus. I don't know why it's not focusing, but it's Shazam. I have the Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears. It's the actual book. And then I also have an original pair of Fruit of the Loom. Hold on. Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia. You can see the cornucopia on there. They say it never existed. But that's it for you guys. It's going back in my safe. I'm hanging on to it for good.
So a lot of people think the Mandela effect is like shifting timelines and like jumping from one reality to another to where things would change. If that was the case, those things wouldn't exist. Assuming they're real. I remember cornucopia. I remember the Berenstain Bears. I don't remember the Sinbad version of Kazam. Shazam is a comic book character. So it would have also been called Kazam if it was Sinbad. Even if Sinbad was in the movie instead of Shaq. I remember that there's footage, right? There's footage you can look up that's fake footage that Sinbad actually created as a joke a few years back to kind of poke fun at the whole Kazam Mandela effect thing. So I don't remember that being a thing. If you do, cool, good on you. But I think the Mandela effect is honestly just a psyop. I think that they've been trying to dumb us down for so long, make us incapable of making decisions on our own, and make us just like killing our confidence and making us question the reality of what we see and what we hear. You see it in the media and stuff all the time. So I think that's what the Mandela effect is. I think they're just like, just blatantly lying to us about stuff. So we just, believe things without questioning them, which is really stupid. Really, really stupid.
They just confirmed aliens are from our oceans and they have proof of it. In the Oversight Committee hearing that was broadcasted worldwide, 4 witnesses, including a retired Navy commander, confirmed to Congress that non-human higher intelligence exists and we're in possession of their technology. They said we have UAP material and bioorganic material, and so does every other country, and behind closed doors, they're all in a race trying to reverse engineer the technology that they have. They said they have video evidence of them appearing from the oceans all across the world, and they've been here much longer than us. We've seen the UAPs move and react so quickly, and based on their technology, they believe they're being controlled by a mind-body connection. It said that some of these beings appear to be interdimensional and that a human can withstand up to 9 Gs of force before suffering fatal consequences, but the technology they're working on is producing upwards of 3,000 Gs. Said this is only the tip of the iceberg compared to what the government is not telling us, but let me know what you guys think about all of this.
Yeah, for sure. I can believe that. You have to think, if you want to take over a planet, you're going to take over the areas that occupy the majority of the planet. How much of our planet is ocean? How much of our planet is the water? How much safer are you in the ocean compared to being on top of land and having to deal with the elements and everything? So assuming you can build something underwater that's sustainable, can withstand the pressure of the water and whatnot, like, of course you're going to want to occupy the oceans. Of course you are.
3I Atlas passed Mars yesterday, exactly when an ancient Sumerian map said it would. At 4 a.m. UTC, 3I Atlas made its closest approach to any planet so far in our solar system, 18 million miles from Mars. Multiple space agencies, including NASA and the European Space Agency, are coordinating observations using various spacecraft and orbiters around Mars. They want to know where it's going next and if its course has changed further. 3,000 years ago, the Sumerians carved a star chart showing a dark object from Sagittarius brushing past Mars and turning inward. Many experts agree that the ancient map is a signal left by the gods, so humans would know when to look up and when to expect the gods' return. Yesterday, that same map was at the forefront of every astrological conversation around the world. Not only did the Sumerians perfectly chart the skies, but they did so knowing where the planets and stars would align today. How is this possible?
They were really good at math for somebody who was so incredibly underdeveloped technologically. That's I was being facetious there. But yeah, I mean, they definitely knew a lot more than we're giving them credit for. I mean, a lot of ancient cultures, we're finding out more and more about them, their ability to build, their ability for just the infrastructure, everything they had going on monetarily, socially. Like, we do not give them enough credit for the abilities that they had and the things they were able to do with what little resources and knowledge and even insight and intelligence that not we, but modern day people, archaeologists, give them credit for. Definitely a lot of shit we don't know about.
So hear me out, because something crossed my mind and I want to share it with you guys today. Lately, no matter what, it's undeniable that there have been a lot of things showing up around our water, over our ocean, stationary, from motherships to the conversation of an advanced civilization again, to now we're talking about mermaid eating parties and also fishermen that go out finding these mermaids to serve them to, rich status people. Now, this is where I started thinking about some stuff, because in my last post, I started talking about the mermaid eating parties, and a lot of the comments referred to mermaids as manatees or dolphins. Now, I grew up in Florida on a body of water in Sarasota, Florida, and I was around manatees and dolphins my whole entire childhood. Never once heard anyone refer to them as mermaids. However, my brain started to really get a little bit of activity going on because someone brought up something to me. It is illegal to have any interaction whatsoever with dolphins and manatees, which I get it, they're wild creatures, so yeah, just leave them alone. But there's even like a hotline where you can report someone who has interactions with dolphins and manatees, which are also two of the smartest creatures in water. They have a way of communicating.
Hey man, snitches get stitches. I don't care if you're a manatee or a dolphin or a human. You don't go calling hotlines, snitching on people. Fun fact, one of the mermaid origin stories is that lonely sailors would fuck manatees, and that is how mermaids were born. I didn't make it up. I'm telling you, my buddy's a sailor. My good friend's a sailor, and he told me that, and I laughed hysterically because of how absurd it is. But that's one story. So I know a lot of people say that maybe manatees were mistaken for mermaids back in the day. It's a little deeper than that, and by deeper I mean penetration. That kind of deep. It's gross.
An alien spaceship is going to be in our skies at the end of November. This interstellar object, 3I Atlas, is bigger than Mount Everest and travels toward Earth at about 130,000 miles per hour. It moved behind the sun in early October, becoming invisible from Earth, and is expected to reappear at the end of November. Recently, 3I Atlas passed near Mars. NASA had planned to observe it with its telescopes, but recently said its website won't be updated due to a government shutdown, a timing that seems suspicious. But this is where it gets in. They never released.
Yeah, man, that's definitely interesting. I don't know how accurate that is, about the amateur astronomer, but I think it is pretty convenient that the government's shutting down around the time that we have the best chance of capturing photos from this thing from outside of our solar system. I don't know. What do you think it is? I hope I hope it's an alien spaceship. At the same time, like, it's kind of terrifying if it is. But, I mean, it's going to be a bummer if it's not at this point. We've had so many false alarms that it's just like, come on, bro. Just give us fucking aliens, dude.
They're hiding this from you. Our moon might be hollow, and scientists speculate it could be an artificial structure. During Apollo 12, the astronauts set up a moonquake experiment. Once they left the surface and returned to the main spacecraft, they used the lunar module, which served as a transport vehicle that carried them between the moon and orbit. And when they were done with it, they crashed it into the surface of the moon, triggering a moonquake. But this is where it gets scary. The moon is discovered inside the moon.
It's a Death Star. It's a planet destroyer. At least that's what it would be if we were in the Star Wars universe. I love the Hollow Moon theory. I think it's real. I think it's an observatory. I truly do. I don't know if that means that the black obelisk theory, like the soul catcher on the moon, is true. I don't necessarily think it's like a soul that catches our souls, but I do think it was put here to stabilize the Earth's environment, to make it more inhabitable, more livable, so that the Anunnaki could do their thing. And now they're watching us. Now they're just up there chilling inside the moon.
That you won't fly commercial. You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need of Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listen to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah.
That dude's a fucking weirdo. It's so weird that, like, people, like, if someone's on stage, like, they're immediately like an authority figure, and people are more prone to just like listen to them and look up to them. I've been to lots of business conventions, marketing conventions, events, lots of churches, mega churches, all kinds of shit over the course of my life, and it's like the same thing. It's like, oh, this person is in front of a microphone, like me. like me. I guess this person's in front of a microphone, you know, this person is putting themselves out there and you know, standing in front of people to share their opinion on things. Like, this person's an authority figure on the subject. Like, it's very easy to be abused, right? I try to be very, I don't want to put myself in that category of, you know, like a pastor or like a politician or something. I'm just a normal dude sitting behind a computer looking at a camera, just looking at TikToks, right? I'm no different than you. You know, you can do this shit too. Probably better than I can. But like the pastors of the mega church and shit like that, like they have like this like self-appointed radiance, right? To where like, I'm here, I'm an authority, listen to me. And like people eat that shit up. And then they like give assholes like this money. And this dude, I don't know, this dude's just weird. It's such a weird like culty vibe, dude. It's so weird how easily people will just like take what someone says at face value as like being the correct thing for them or the definitive answer just because they're standing on a stage behind a podium. It's fucking weird to me, dude. It's so weird to me. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are or the scenario is. It's just weird.
Okay, are you ready for this? So last night in Mexico City, journalist Jaime Maussan went live on TV, and what he reveals about the Buga sphere, if legit, it would rewrite human history. So he unleashed a ton of information, but basically he claims that the metallic sphere found in Buga, Colombia, it's finally been decoded. And the carvings on the top are not just random. They're Proto-Sanskrit, the root of humanity's oldest written language. According to Maussan, it tells a story from 12,560 years ago describing great oceans moving, the end of one world and the birth of another world. Then came the lab results. He says that U.S. tests show that the sphere is made of a high-grade refined aluminum mixed with rare earth elements. And he said that it wouldn't have existed at this time. The resin that they carbon dated was 12,560 years old. They were able to carbon date that, not the metal. An engineer named Rodolfo Herrero called it a solid-state resonator, not art, but a piece of technology. Local officials even approved a replica monument at the spot where it was found, where vegetation still refuses to grow, I guess. And the man who discovered it, Don Jose, he just said that he knew it was not from here. Maussan says that the glyphs may warn of a global cataclysm. the same one basically that ended the Ice Age and promised full transparency on every test moving forward. He ended the broadcast staring straight into the camera, and he said, "This is one of the greatest discoveries of all time. We are only beginning to understand who made it." Whew, it's a lot. I may do a deeper dive video on this because there is actually a lot more that he stated, but what do you think of this? What do you make of it?
Wait, so the Buga was translated to tell us about something that already happened prior, like a cataclysm that happened in the past? Like, did they find this thing? Did they dig it up? Is it old? Is it new? Is it a new thing telling us about something that happened in the past? Because it doesn't seem very groundbreaking to me. Like it was made of like rare earth metals or whatever. I don't know. That could just be marketing. I don't know. I have a belt. I have a magnetic belt to hold my pants up that literally says made with rare earth magnets. Right? I don't know what the fuck that means. It sounds cool. You know, it's a cool belt. So to say rare earth elements, like what constitutes as that? Because if I can buy a $30 belt online that has rare earth elements, like how unique does that really make this thing? Like, does that mean it's not man-made? I don't know. I have no idea.
These kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. You know, the public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
Launched on the exact same day the government shut down its most secretive surveillance program? February 4th, 2004. DARPA officially terminated LifeLog, a project designed to collect every detail of citizens' daily lives. The same day, Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook from his Harvard dorm room. According to conspiracy theorists, this timing wasn't coincidental. LifeLog aimed to create digital records of everything: relationships, activities, conversations, movements. Sound familiar? That's exactly what Facebook does today. The theory suggests Facebook became the civilian face of government surveillance, disguised as social networking. Early funding allegedly came from venture capital firms with CIA connections, including In-Q-Tel Investments. Within years, Facebook knew your friends, your interests, your location, even your political views. Everything LifeLog wanted to collect, but couldn't do openly. Today, billions voluntarily upload their entire lives to the platform. The perfect surveillance system, hidden in plain sight. Sometimes the best way to watch everyone is to make them want to be watched.
It's the thing, man. If it's free to use, you're the product. If you got to pay for it, probably paying for a product, but yeah, if it's free to use, I don't know why I don't know why I'm stuttering, but if it's free to use, we're the products. You know, that's something that we sacrifice. We sign the terms of service and we say like, yeah, take my information. If you let me post, you know, photos of my dog and my food, you can have all my information. Man, just bring back MySpace. Come on, Tom. Like, what happened, bro? Where'd you go? You were so cool. You let us tell our friends who we were mad at that day by moving them down our top 8. You let us completely customize our pages. You let us put our favorite songs on our pages. You didn't care that we had shitty haircuts and wearing girl pants and eyeliner. Man, MySpace was great. MySpace was so fun. I just need to make like MySpace 2.0. I don't know if I'd ever use Facebook again. So we're in such a weird place now. Like, first of all, that video is insane, if that's real. But it's so hard to tell now. I mean, it was hard to tell before, but like now that everyone has access to AI, it's even harder to tell. I don't know if you guys saw, but I've been playing with AI lately and just making ridiculous shit, just having fun with it. I know a couple of you guys have commented like you're pissed off that like I'm a conspiracy theory YouTuber and I'm actually like using AI. But dude, it's here. Like there's no avoiding it. I'm not gonna run from it, you know. And it's fun. It just allows me to make stupid shit, like retarded shit, you know. So check out my YouTube shorts if you haven't lately. They're absurd. But that being said, just be very careful with what you accept as fact initially seeing it, because it's very hard to tell nowadays. Like it's very hard to tell, and it's just gonna get harder.
This person has found something which is very, very peculiar, okay? The YouTube channel is called James.
So I have it in this box here, outside of my car, just to be safe. When I get close to it, I almost feel like throwing up. It's kind of weird, but it seems like the thing is... It seems like it's alive and it's dying. It's vibrating in patterns and it's vibrating weaker and weaker each time, so... if I die, know that I did not commit suicide. I would never do that. I'm gonna try to bring this thing home and uncover the truth, no matter what it is. I don't care.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because he sent me a follow-up email, and he says, basically, he says, I don't care what people say. I'm not doing this for money or fame. All right? Even if somebody sent me 10 million, I ain't selling it. I'm going to seek professional help about this thing. As in professional, like, you know, he's going to get somebody to analyze this thing and look into it, okay?
Okay, I'm driving home with this thing right now. I was thinking about getting one of those lead blankets for it, because I think it's probably radioactive or something. Thing's giving me these weird feelings all the time. I'll be asleep in the back and I'll wake up with a terrible, terrible nightmare, and in 10 minutes all of a sudden I'm feeling fine.
Like, I'm discovering this right now with you, okay? See, it's quite interesting what he said regarding how he feels, because there have been these whistleblowers, these pilots have explained how nauseous and unwell they feel once they come in contact with something alien.
Okay guys, here it is again. I just got home.
Oh, what? It's got markings at the end?
It's really reflective, so I'm gonna try to not reveal myself in the reflection.
Is this thing like the Buga
Reflection. When I show you all the markings. So here's this side. And I'm still not touching it with my hand because I think it is dangerous or radioactive.
What the hell?
It's really smooth. Now, I'm gonna keep trying to post like every day so I don't disappear, but we all know how these things go, so...
What the hell?
I'll probably try to open it at some point, but I don't know how to do that right now. I also don't...
Mate, are you kidding me? Don't do it. Don't do it. Securing the object.
How does that happen right when I'm recording too, by the way? That never ever happens, but first of all, that's gonna be annoying. Okay. Wow.
What?
This thing has a mind of its own. Look at this. It doesn't want me to get a clear video of it. I'm gonna walk in here. Look at my other...
Mate, are you having a laugh? You're having a laugh, mate? What is going on here? Right, okay, listen, you could maybe twist the light so it's like slightly, you know, the bulbs slightly in.
I'm gonna see if it just needs to be turned.
Okay, this guy just debunked my debunk.
Whatever.
I wonder if it's going to weigh different amounts at different times. Like the Buga.
Okay, I'm letting go pretty much. We got 15.8 pounds. I'll lift it up again and set it back down if I can. I might need two hands. Okay, I got 15.8.
What's this? He's got a rash?
A few days ago, like right when I got the object, I did notice I was itching my leg a little bit. There was like a little bump right here. I'm looking at it now, and every day it's really subtle, but now it's all the way down here. There's like these little bumps. It's a rash I've never had before.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't have that in my house. No bloody way. That's if this is legit and he knows it's legit, like this is scary. Well, what do you think? Is this a hoax? Is it another Buga sphere?
I think it's the world's heaviest dildo, personally. 15 pounds? That could do some damage. Gonna have to lube that thing up real nice. Maybe, dude, what if, you know those UFOs that people have been like catching on film for like decades, and it's like I think they call them the rods, flying rod UFOs or something like that. We only catch like glimpses of them blurry, but they look like that. They're like fucking just like flying rods. What if that's like a crashed one of those? That'd be pretty sick. But also it had a Star of David on it, engraved on it, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's new. I mean, that symbol goes back thousands and thousands of years across multiple cultures. So who knows? But I don't know, man. And I don't think holding it with like construction paper is going to stop from the radiation getting to you. If that's the case, get like an oven mitt or something, dude. But I don't know what that is, man. I'm so torn between like all this UFO stuff and Project Bluebeam, and I don't know, man. There's so much crazy shit going on right now. But you're gonna have to let me know what you think. I think that the video is pretty wild. Also, can I just say this? And I know that some of you guys probably think this too. It's very weird. It's strange for me to react to a reaction video like this one, like a guy watching a video of a guy watching video, like I'm the dude pretending to be the dude playing the other dude. But I don't know, it turns out that way sometimes. It just works out that way.
If the moon landing was real, how did they broadcast hours of video before satellites or Wi-Fi even existed? Pause and picture this. It's 1969. Your TV flickers in black and white. Back then, even local news signals struggled to travel across cities without static. Yet somehow, a tiny module nearly 240,000 miles away supposedly streamed live, flawless footage across the entire world. Instantly. Doesn't that sound almost supernatural? Now imagine you're one of the engineers in that dim control room, surrounded by humming machines, spinning reels, and blinking consoles. You're told a fragile radio wave will cut through cosmic radiation, magnetic storms, and endless space, and land perfectly on Earth. No delay, no distortion, just crystal clear images from another world. Meanwhile, transatlantic calls at that time required massive undersea cables. There were no orbiting satellites for global broadcasting, so where exactly did that moon signal bounce from? A hidden relay? A classified ground station? Or maybe something far closer than we were led to believe? Think about this. If signals could travel hundreds of thousands of miles through space without interruption, why did engineers struggle to send clear TV across continents? Why could we stream the moon, but not the next country over? And what about timing? One misalignment, one solar flare, one atmospheric ripple, and the feed should have collapsed instantly. But it didn't. It ran for hours, smooth, uninterrupted, almost too perfect. As if the signal wasn't coming from deep space at all, but from somewhere much more local. Every law of physics, every technological limit of that era says it shouldn't have worked. Yet history calls it flawless. Conveniently flawless. Doesn't that perfection feel rehearsed? Maybe the real transmission wasn't from the moon, but from a studio much closer to home. Because, you know, when a story fits too neatly into the myth of progress, that's when it deserves to be questioned most. So next time you hear, it was live from space, ask yourself, live from where exactly?
I mean, he's not wrong. It's definitely not wrong. Came from Utah, Massachusetts. I mean, yeah, and also some weird stuff about that is that they actually wouldn't allow the news stations to like tap into the feed. So what they did, they actually projected the feed on a wall at ground control, NASA, and they recorded the projection off the wall and then streamed that. Just fed that into TVs and stuff for people. It was all very weird because the president was literally saying that we were incapable of doing it. It was not going to work. It didn't matter how much money we had. It didn't matter what we did. We would not beat Russia there. right? Russia was like leagues ahead of us on making this happen, and then just one day everything flipped, and we're just like, psych, we're going to the fucking moon, bitches. I don't think that was real.
Enki, one of the leading Anunnaki, proposed creating primitive workers, called Lulu, to relieve the Anunnaki of their laborious tasks on Earth. He identified beings in the Abzu, who walked upright and used their front limbs as arms as potential candidates for modification. These beings lived among animals, competed for territory, and had hairy bodies similar to early Anunnaki ancestors. Enki captured these beings and presented them to the Anunnaki, suggesting they could be modified with Anunnaki essence. Ningish Zida examined the beings and found their essence similar to the Anunnakis, proposing that combining their essences would create a suitable worker. Enlil opposed the idea, advocating for the use of tools instead of creating new beings. Despite Enlil's objections, a council on Nibiru decided to proceed with the creation of the new beings for the sake of Nibiru's salvation. Enki and Ninmah led the experiments, attempting various combinations of essences and using crystal vessels for fertilization. Initial attempts faced challenges, but Enki suggested using vessels made from earthly materials, leading to the successful birth of a boy named Adamu, exhibiting a mix of Anunnaki and earthly features.
And after he made Adamu, he made Eve Vamu. He made Eve.
This is the Milan Cathedral in Italy, and allegedly it was built in the 1300s and supposedly took 600 years to do, with hammer and chisel, horse and cart, ropes and pulleys, and just brute strength to create this amazing, beautiful, perfectly symmetrical structure with no technology, no power tools. How did they complete this? How did they build this? And they just had masterful level stonemasonry skills and just excellent project management and transferring of responsibilities over 600 years. This cathedral is made out of marble. And they mined it 60 miles away and just hauled it with brute strength over to Milan and built it. How did they get the marble up there? How did they hoist it up? How did they hand chisel it to be perfect? And that door, what is this door? Look at that door. Look how big that door is. That door is built for a giant. Why would they build a door that big for regular people? Look at those people and look at that door. Oh, it's just for design. It's just for, aesthetics.
Seems legit, I guess. I don't know. I know there are amazing stonemasons, and there were things built by humans that were like incredible. Like you look at them and you're just like, how did a human do this? And it comes from me not knowing how to do that, where I'm like, this is incredible. I see someone do a backflip, I'm like, holy shit, that guy's an alien, right? I think a lot of it stems from just not being able to fathom and not being able to really appreciate how something is done, because we ourselves as individuals don't know how to do things. But at the same time, I'm also somebody who thinks that the Anunnaki created the human race and that they were giants and that dolphins would rule the world if they had opposable thumbs. So maybe I'm not the person to ask about this one in particular.
So we begin to wonder, what happens when the universe whispers something we're not ready to hear? There are these profound moments in physics, these turning points, where a single observation shatters everything we thought was solid, where reality itself seems to tilt on its axis. And right now, we're standing at the edge of one of those moments. Picture this. July arrives, and with it, a faint speck of light appears against the cosmic backdrop. Nothing remarkable at first glance, just another silent traveler drifting through an ocean of darkness. But here's where it gets interesting. That seemingly insignificant pinpoint would evolve into something that challenges the very foundations of what we know. We call it 3I Atlas, marking it as the third visitor from beyond our solar neighborhood to cross our threshold. Yet even that label, that simple designation, feels almost naive now, because what we're watching doesn't follow the script. It refuses to behave like the comets we've studied, the asteroids we've mapped, or any celestial wanderer in our extensive catalogs. something about it feels fundamentally different. Let me paint you a picture that might make you pause. Imagine something tearing through space at 152,000 miles per hour. Think about that velocity for just a moment. We're talking about speeds that dwarf nearly everything else moving through our cosmic backyard by a factor of 5. Your typical space debris, those asteroids and meteoroids we monitor, they glide past at maybe 20,000 or 30,000 miles per hour. But this is operating on an entirely different scale. And here's what really captures the imagination. When researchers rewound its path, tracing back through space and time, they discovered something extraordinary. Atlas didn't originate from our asteroid belt. It didn't come from the distant Kuiper belt or even the mysterious Oort cloud. No, this
traveler came from absolute darkness, is what he said at the end of the video there. Just cut him off. I think a lot of this, I don't really know what to think of 3i Atlas, other than I hope it's aliens. Just like, they didn't even have to come here, dude. I just want to hear, like, oh, they're aliens. They said, what's up? We're getting star seeds. It was from what I heard. I don't even know what a star seed is. Let me know what a star seed is down in the comments, if you know, please, so I can better understand this. But I think a lot of this kind of comes from us not understanding anything outside of our solar system. We don't even understand everything within our solar system, but something coming from the outside of our solar system that is completely like against everything that we've known isn't too surprising to me. It's like our first interaction with something that completely like questions our knowledge of existence, right? Which is, it's kind of scary and kind of weird, but it's like saying if something were to move faster than the speed of light, then Einstein's theory of relativity would be completely negated, I guess, meaning that all of our basic understanding of physics and space and time would be wrong. It probably is, you know, it probably is, because there's so much out there that we don't understand and can't interact with and can't study to really understand, you know, what's outside of what keeps our solar system and our ecosystems growing and moving.
So President Putin has said a few things that's got me a little rattled, and I think it'll have you rattled as well. Give me a second, let me explain. President Putin of Russia came out on the world stage and he gave a speech. In that speech, he said, I have proof, and this is all alleged. He said, I have proof that the American people are eating each other unbeknownst to them. That we are being fed each other and we have no clue about it. Yeah, that's what he said. Number two, he said that allegedly he has video, audio, satellite images all across the board that will disprove what we have been taught and told about 9/11. Yeah. I don't know about you. I can't speak for everybody in the U.S. But President Putin, if you have this proof, release it. The American people want to know.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. If he has it, I want to know. And we already know that, well, we already assume, right? I guess nobody knows for sure, but we know that 9/11 was different from how we were told it was portrayed. And as far as eating people, I mean, I can see Taco Bell. You know, they used to serve horse meat. I can see them serving, you know, human meat. That'd be gross. I love Taco Bell. I don't think I'd stop eating there. There are very few things that could make me stop eating Taco Bell, and that's definitely up there. That might do it. That might do the trick. We would have to see. Hope I don't have to find out. But also, in translating other languages and things, some things are taken out of context and taken differently or taken literally, right? So, you know, Americans eating each other, we kind of have been. Just like with the way we treat each other, just the way we no longer respect each other. The fact that, you know, patriotism has become like a bad thing, and that like facts and data are bad. Like anything that hurts someone's feelings or makes them feel bad or makes them question their thoughts or their morals or their beliefs is considered toxic now, and it's bad. And that's stupid. That's really stupid, but maybe that's what he's talking about. That's what I would think anyway.
Did you hear that 3i Atlas just sent a message to Earth and it passed by Mars and they caught this photo of it? It has no comet tail or asteroid particleage coming out of the back of it. That's the same photo with the black removed in the background, taken by the Mars rover because it just passed super close to Mars. So NASA angled the camera towards it, shot photon protein fiber beams. That's the best way to get the best imagery. And look at that. It is a cylinder in its shapeage, and it is throwing the scientific community into a tizzy.
I mean, I hope that's the case. I mean, it'd be cool if they came here, those Anunnaki, right? Coming back and be like, yo, we did some stuff. We made you. We're coming back. We feel like you're at a place now to where we can actually, help elevate your society, your race, your civilization. But I see them getting here and just being at a complete loss for words. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have the ability to work together as like one nation, just like one people, to literally elevate your own species, right? Elevate everything from technology to the way we live to everything, and you're just not doing it. Instead, you're just competing with each other. It's stupid, but I mean, that's the way I would see it going. It would like just slap us on the wrist. Like, you guys are dumb. We're going home. Good luck.
So the Air Force admits they went 80,000 years into the future, part 2. So last video we talked about how the Air Force went 80,000 years into the future. Air Force Office of Special Investigations Richard Doty states that they went 80,000 years into the future and they found humans that were not quite human anymore. And they also found 6 planets like Earth where Earth should have been, surrounded by a transparent bubble. Now, the humans that were living there were not quite human. They were actually more robotic. They had incorporated AI into their existence. Now, by doing that, they also were smarter than we were, right? They had planets that had lifted landscapes, lifted off of the ocean floor, so they could survive better. This was really fascinating because 80,000 years in the future, they had octopuses that were walking on land. Maybe they needed to get off the land to get away from these octopuses. And we've always talked about octopuses being potentially alien as well. So in this story, there's so much to discern and think about, but that's what these chrononauts, these time travelers came back and told us. They couldn't even understand the individuals that were on the planet initially, the humans, and they were able to utilize some devices to communicate with them, as it was 80,000 years in the future. Remember, we can't even barely understand Shakespeare, much less, and that was 400 years ago, much less 80,000 years in the future.
That would be awesome. I love cyberpunk, dude. I want to be around long enough to be a damn cyborg. I have a tattoo. I think it's this here. Let's see if you can see it. Like, it's like a USB port and auxiliary ports and stuff. I don't know. I just like cyberpunk a lot. Sign me up, Eli. Give me some implants, bro. I want to move stuff with my mind. Either way, man. Time travel, aliens. Just give me it. Give me all of it. I need it. Just give me it. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in close, buddy. I want to be a part of this. This is what I live for. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If there's your first time here and you liked what you saw, consider liking and subscribing. Comment below what you want to see in the next video. Lucid Crew, my fucking YouTube fam, let's go. Appreciate all the donations, the subscriptions, the shares, the comments, the likes, just everything. You guys are awesome. You made this channel so much more fun for me. And honestly, just like life so much easier because you guys are so nice. And it's hard to find people that say nice shit about you on the internet, but you guys are awesome. So thank you. You make me want to keep doing this and make it a lot of fun. So see you next time, guys. Peace.